Welcome back, everyone. Starladder Europe Season 11 kicking off now with My Insanity versus HellRaisers. It is a BO1 as normal here for the group stages in Starladder. I'm Helium. Joining me again for the long day of games, it's going to be Blaze.
Hey man, I'm doing pretty good. Feeling like an old man a little bit, but it's okay. Dota 2 is my fountain of youth. The caffeine will light up the synapses, my sinuses will clear, and we'll get into some awesome Dota 2. Here in the European region, we've got HellRaisers versus My Insanity Sensei, and they're going to be going at it here, trying to kind of prove themselves a little bit. HellRaisers, I don't think they've ever claimed Tier 1 status, and they definitely want to move up the ranks there. In MYI, they're probably the underdogs of the tournament overall, so really trying to test their mettle here. And we've already got an interesting draft underway. Some star-crossed lovers here between the Skywrath and the Vengeful Spirit. And picking up the Ember really early on as well is very interesting to see. A very active hero in his own right. The laning phase can contribute a couple of kills his way, as he does have some really good high-damage spells. But he is kind of a glass cannon here, and a good Blink Puck or Ancient Seal could be his undoing.
Yeah, the silences can definitely be pretty aggravating for the Ember Spirits, as My Insanity will look to lock that hero down and kill it. Because if you don't, Ember Spirit can win games pretty easily. We'll look at some of these bans, though. Taken out first was the Brewmaster. The Ogre Magi, very popular support. Gives you a lot of map dominance in the early game just because of his high HP, his good abilities. His armor is ridiculous. You can tower dive at level 1 if you really wanted to. Void Visage also taken out there by My Insanity. HellRaisers will take out the Wisp and the Tide Hunter, so I guess My Insanity really like their Wisp strats, or HellRaisers really hate their Wisp strats. Also Storm and Legion, who we've actually been seeing quite a bit of appearing in the mid lane, going to be taken out.
Yeah, so now where do they go with the draft is the question here. Obviously, a lot of magical damage is My Insanity's kind of go-to right now. They're bursting people down with Orb, Waning Rift, combo from Skywrath, so on and so forth. So more offensive heroes in that regard would get them a lot of early kills and flesh out their mid game, but they do want something that follows up the Dream Coil nicely. An Ancient Apparition could do pretty well here. Not great against the Ember Spirit, but overall very great in pairing with the Puck. But we're going to go with more leash play here. The Slark can lock people down just as well as the Puck can, as far as making sure they can't leave the location. Ember Spirit still is able to activate his Fire Remnant and jump out of either, but of course there is the ability to silence him to prevent that from happening. So it's positioning control for My Insanity, and that's going to set them up for some really good Mystic Flares. People locked in position, unable to actually leave the spheres. It's generally going to be easy targets if they're under any other slow effects. So I think Skywrath is going to get a lot of kills and assists this game, and that's going to obviously pervade for them to have a very spread set of gold. I mean, the supports are going to have a lot of income here. They're going to be able to get up some good disabling items, but Enigma is one of those heroes that you can't count out as far as getting a ton of farm himself, unless you ward out his jungle extensively, which I'm not sold on My Insanity's level 1 invade right now. Enigma should be able to get a ton of farm in the jungle just using the demonic conversion and getting them mad GPM, taking down the neutral creeps.
Yep, so Enigma comes out third. HellRaisers already have themselves the Vengeful Spirit. I was just about to say, My Insanity, definitely picking Venge here. And then, my tired brain looked to the bottom left of the screen, saw Vengeful Spirit alongside the Enigma. So trying to find a stun that'll go through BKB, stop that channeling. Doom here, going to try to disrupt that Enigma while he black holes. And obviously, before the BKB, they've easily got the silence from Skywrath at range an instant. Puck can do it. I guess the coil would be easier than the Waning Rift if the coil is still available. So Enigma, probably going to be wanting to find a BKB, or make sure you get Skywrath and Doom and Puck. So everybody in the black hole, which is not going to be easy.
So, yeah, I'm curious what they're going to do to manage the Doom. Obviously, a Lincoln Sphere would be really good on the Ember or the Enigma, but it takes a lot of income to get there, and I think the tempo for My Insanity is going to be a little bit too aggressive to really rely on such an expensive item to get them out of a bad spot. I feel the first two Dooms are going to be really impactful as far as how the early team fights work out. Slark how involved he gets. If he goes for like a Blink Dagger build, I expect a lot of good things. We've been seeing a lot more Shadow Blade recently for some reason. I'm not so sure about that. I think it's a fine item in its own right, but it just costs so much mana on a hero that doesn't have it at his disposal. So we'll see. But another big thing is the PA coming up. The PA will not be countered by any of my series heroes until the Doom picks up his Aghanims. Once the Aghanims comes out, the PA will not be able to crit, evade, or lifesteal, and that's a big deal. So I think the big thing for my Insanity is to make sure the Doom actually gets some farm this game. You can't just throw him in the off lane and never let him go back to the jungle. He has to get some Devours, he has to get some GPM, because they're not going to be able to take this game unless they just completely stomp HellRaisers, which matchup-wise, team versus team, doesn't seem like likely. And then, of course, you have to consider the fact that they have to get that Doom Aghanims up. So it's going to be on the Doom to really make sure they have to secure late game, because the Slark, although he is an insanely powerful late game force, you just can't go up against 3 heroes like Ember, Enigma, and PA and feel comfortable.
Yeah, Doom's life might be made a little bit easier since Enigma's, I mean, more than likely going to be in the jungle, right? So even if he does go off lane, it's just going to be 2 versus 1. Doom with Devour, even if he's not hitting that many creeps, he's still going to be able to get quite a bit of gold, which can lead to what we've been seeing, maxing out Devour, going Midas, and then finding your first big item, generally Blink, and then Aghanim Scepter. So that's, you know, it's pretty pricey. It's $22.50 for the Blink, and then another $4,200 for the Ags. So the hero does have to save up a lot of gold, but it's never that difficult. They could also safe lane him and maybe go aggressive, put some more pressure on that duo safe lane, if that's what it is from HellRaisers, and also pressure that Enigma in the jungle, as my Insanity will pick up the Jakiro. So maybe Skywrath select Jakiro, looking to get aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, some early push will give them the gold they need to some degree, and they absolutely lack it right now. Slark is a really bad push hero until a fight is successful. And what I mean by that is the fact that he really doesn't naturally right-click very hard until Essence Shift is stacked up substantially. Once he lives through a fight and moves on to the towers with like 20 Essence Shift stacks or more, then he's going to be able to tear through them very quickly. But as it stood right now, the first 4 heroes of my Insanity's draft did not really do that much for the tower destruction, and the Jakiro is going to help them in that regard with the Liquid Fire. It's going to be very, very good for them to actually be able to take some objectives off the map and to kind of suppress HellRaisers in their Radiant space. But Timbersaw is going to be the final pickup. He's going to be jumping around with a lot of pure damage here, and has a lot of potential, this hero, for killing off Slark within Shadow Dance, which is a pretty big deal, since otherwise he's, in a lot of situations, he seems to be practically invulnerable in that state.
Yeah, probably why they go for the hero. We'll see Timbersaw marching down towards where, I don't even know where I am in Showcase View. It's so confusing. Timbersaw, where were you? Okay, there you go. You're going to the off lane, so not really surprised. HellRaisers, Gorak, going to be playing the off lane Timber. Now, in the bottom lane, the safe lane for the Radiant, we've got Dread on the Vengeful Spirit. Been playing a lot of that hero recently, as has every support player. Alpha Ninja on the Ember Spirit towards the middle lane. We've got Arts on the Phantom Assassin, and Goddamn here on the Enigma. And here's the Invade. They want to try to come down here, put down some wards. They want to disrupt the Enigma's jungle as much as possible, so it's very expected. That's why HellRaisers have also shown up in force.
So we're expecting some in the tree lines here a little bit, maybe some on the lower ground, on the hard camp perhaps. They're just trying to make sure that it doesn't get a clean, easy jungle. The big thing is taking down at least one of the 2 western camps and perhaps the central camps. And that's a really easy one to block, the central one is. And you don't want to get them that little triangle of neutral creeps to bounce between. If you just take out one of those, then you'll force him to the east side, and in general, he just won't be very comfortable. He might even be forced into the enemy jungle there. So all that is well and good, but if they invest too heavily into it, then obviously the Enigma will just walk away to the other jungle. If they invest too lightly, then maybe Sentry Wards plus, I don't know, a Timber going by and whirling deathing some trees to open up the camps would work out pretty well. For now, they placed, obviously, one Dire on Observer Ward on the east side. They're looking for their sentries spots here. And not really putting anything down. I think they're trying to fake their opponents out by like saying, okay, I was here, I was here, I was here. Are these camps actually blocked? And maybe make them waste a sentry. There's the one.
Alright, they will block that camp. the medium camp towards the middle lane for a little bit. It's going to be 4 minutes there. Well, really about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, as the camps haven't quite spawned yet. Anyways.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about this one blocking on the east side here.
It's
it is
close.
like it's on the line if it is.
Yeah.
Like the line might be here or it might be here, and that's all the difference in the world for actually controlling the jungle. It still gives them great vision, and it's not likely to be dewarded because they will see this camp spawning. But yeah, it's very interesting indeed.
All right, we've pointed out all the wards here in the early game. HellRaisers versus My Insanity starting now. It's going to be Slark, played by Cole up here for MYI, along with, we've got Lizard on the Skywrath Mage. Over towards mid, Puck will be handled by Milan. And then downstairs we've got...
Oh, the Cats will connect up top. The Gork's going to take a lot of damage here. Does have that reactive armor, but still one more Arcane Bolt, if it was coming off cooldown, could have been the difference maker. Still, he will survive for now, pop the salve, and be right back up to full.
All right, first out some regen. Does still have 7 tangos, but before anyone dies, we've got Grazine here on the Doom, and it's going to be Mitch on the Jakiro. That's My Insanity.
All right, and then looking over at the side of HellRaisers, of course. Did you already go through?
Yeah, I did them both.
Okay, that's cool.
I tricked you.
Makes my job easier.
Making sure you're paying attention this early morning.
Okay, so check out the Sentry Ward for the Enigma here on the northwestern part of the jungle here. He did put down the Sentry Ward. Very common to see it placed right out here and blocking off the camp, but they did a tricky one, and it did fool him. So this is going to break down his jungling. And again, the trick comes through. He pulls out the second sentry and doesn't pull out this camp. So it does indeed block, and he will indeed not have access to it. That's 2 camps he gets to work with alongside the pole camp, and this is a very unhappy Enigma, slowing down his GPM substantially.
Yeah, and just for people, like a little tip, I don't know if you can see it in like stream quality even, because the indents are kind of faint, but this is where you can ward and not block any of the camps. Let's say you're Radiant and you want to put a ward down there, or you're Dire and you don't want them to know that the ward's there. And also there's an indent here. So like if you were to put the Observer ward right there, it would not block the camp to the north or the camp to the south. So just some tips. I think it's like the bottom of these rocks is probably the line.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I mean there's generally cues if you're playing on like full settings in Dota 2 of where the camps are blocked and not blocked. So you can kind of figure it out.
So one thing that's going nicely for HellRaisers is their Timbersaw is getting tons of experience right now. He's actually the 4th in experience per minute. He's practically a solo lane right now. They're not able to zone him out with just the Skywrath here, and he's going for a 0-2-1 build, so very survivable unless he gets silenced out. In fact, manning up a bit on Lizard here to force him back and pull the creep wave most likely. So Gorak is going to have a great time here on the off lane. As far as CS goes for the lanes, we do see that Slark is winning out, and PA is suppressed a little bit here. 8-1 on the bottom lane. Grazine and Mitch doing this duo lane, which is working pretty well. Obviously, the Enigma doesn't want to get involved early, and they've got the Liquid Fire to harass back the PA. She's using a lot more tangos than she'd like to, and in general, it's just not a great time for Arts, as opposed to Grazine, who has that attack speed aura up.
Yeah, honestly, it feels pretty good to see a PA having a difficult time. I'm not going to lie. Liquid Fire spam being a little bit annoying. As long as they connect, I guess you could dodge them here with the 20% on Blur. But if they do connect, the magic damage always going to hurt. So forcing out those tangos completely. Does have a salve left. We had the Tranquil Boots picked up on Doom. A little bit of extra armor. Some more lane sustain if he backs off for a bit. And he's farming well. 14 last hits there for the Doom. 2 points in Devour as expected. And the not as useless Hellbear was devoured. And that'll still give that swiftness aura. Valve, icon please. I know. I've seen that Reddit thread emerge like 20 times now to fix that icon. I'm sure... Maybe the new Chinese New Year patch coming up in the new year.
No, they'll just put it.
Who knows?
They'll just put a Chinese festival hat on the Centaur.
On the Centaur, that would be pretty. Or even the Christmas patch, just put a Santa Claus hat on it. So it's like they know it's wrong, but they're just messing with us at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. Some nice stacking coming out. Double stack on the eastern side, hard. You got some stacked pole camp on the Radiant side. So I mean, they've got a lot of jungle to work with from both sides, but it's going to be mid lane where most of the action is here. FNJ does pull out the Flame Guard. It is level 3, so a lot of absorption, but will it be enough? Being body blocked hard by Milan, the last hits will come through, and he will fall. First blood going to the Puck as Gotham tries to turn it around. Only 1 point in Maledict, though, so Maleficist, so it won't actually do it unless he goes on Mitch here, but that would have been just a bait, as Milan would have capitalized on that overextension. So they all fall back. They get the kill on Ember as they so set out to do, and That's going to give them a little bit of an edge here. As honestly, in the 1v1, Puck versus Ember, after level 3, Ember has just this huge advantage. He's, of course, still a melee versus ranged, but he doesn't really worry about Puck's damage output, as Flame Guard will absorb pretty much the full damage from any 2 Puck spells if the Flame Guard is at 2 or above.
Yeah, it's pretty much Alpha Ninja's lane right now. Milan time. He'll still be able to find some farm, but he does have to be careful. Ember Spirit can't find that solo kill if Milan's too aggressive in farming or harassing with the illusory orb. And maybe pending some support rotations, Milan will find the kill the other way. I didn't quite... Actually, yeah, they just killed him, so there we go. You see that. I feel like the Enigma could have maybe brought down the Jakiro. It's nighttime, and Jakiro's in the tree, so I think it might have been a vision issue. It looked like he was casting his Malefice. Because he had the Eidolons that could have brought in the extra attacks while he just ran away.
Oh,
so
this could be good. Going in right on Milan. He does not have the Searing Chains, but he does just get some damage with the Immolation. Milan!
Oh, no!
Getting out. Just barely.
The tether break actually finished up the Flame Guard, and/or I guess it just ran out of time, but here's Lizard coming over, throwing out the silence, and will force Ember back, and it's... Let's see, we had Puck that got the bounty room in the top there, and double damage for Enigma in the bottom lane, and that'll be his cue to rotate over towards the Dire off lane. They're still? Okay, yeah, they're backing off. Doom, Jakiro, nice and far back here.
And he puts the ward not even in the right spot. He's like, oh, it's blocking, it's giving vision. What is this?
The mind games have been successful here for my insanity.
What is this?
Driving the HellRaisers
Black
to
magic
insanity.
Reward.
Well, no ward.
They might be able to call this with that Malefice. Grzine going to take a lot of damage here.
It's going to be tough. He's got the Scorched Earth at rank 3. There's a lot of HP regen. Arts is really, really going for this. He was also retreating out through this Midnight Pulse, taking some damage. It's 1 point there, so that's that 3% damage reduction. Looking for the Ice Path. Could have been a Dual Breath, but probably Ice Path coming out from the Jakiro. There it is now. Onto the Enigma. Milan's rotated. He TP'd for this. He wants to find the kill. Jakiro still burning him down, and yeah, he's going to fall. And it's actually, I don't know how in the world that splits. I guess a creep auto attack was coming in, but...
Yeah, if the creep kills him, then
he was pretty far into the trees. I'm surprised that a creep got a piece in that.
Everybody gets a small piece of the pie there. Happy to have killed him no matter the case.
Report creeps, kill stealing, please.
Obviously. But yeah, the Doom is has some weaknesses here. The Tranquil Boots does alleviate some of his armor issues, but the fact is, he's a hero with a lot of base strength and max HP. And the reason that can be a bad thing is because he's up against heroes like Enigma and Timbersaw. Timbersaw with the Whirling Death takes away 15% of his strength when he connects with that spell. That's a temporary debuff, but it does do a lot of effective damage. And then the Enigma has the Midnight Pulse, 3% pure damage against his high HP pool. That actually ticks pretty fast, just at level 1.
Yeah, what his stat last duration is 7 seconds on the Whirling Death. So if you open up with the Whirling Death...
right into so much pain with these Eidolons. This is a 0 armor hero, 1 right click. Oh, Alpha Ninja with the
Alpha Ninja's like, hey, thanks. I'll take that. Free Sky Wrath. He killed me once, I'll get him back. And they'll even find an Invis rune off of that. He does have 1 Fire Remnant charge remaining, so he can maybe go for Puck. If Puck uses his orb in the next second to maybe find a creep at long range, Affinage definitely going to want to go for this, but maybe needs to be a little careful. Puck is level 8, does have the Dream Coil. 4 points in Orb, 2 in Waning Rift right now. And Affinage
down bottom, it's going to be a big jump onto Mitch. Art's getting a crit out of it, needs 1 more hit. There it is. Death of the twin-headed dragon. And really good start for him, despite the fact that they put a lot in his lane.
Oh no, Lizard going to be found out again. The Blink Strike is going to be coming through. He dies up top. He goes bottom, and he dies almost immediately. We got to go up top very, very quickly with Slark. Gorak is in some trouble. The Doom has been thrown out. Slark and Doom, generally enemies for the most part, but here they are working in tandem, and now Alpha Ninja in the middle lane being chased down by Milan. Jakiro going to try to help, but I don't think they're going to be getting this one. Going to phase and take the orb to back out. Uh-oh, Milan, don't screw that up. All right, he'll get back to safety. Rune's up in another 40 seconds, but he might just take the long trip back to base, let Jakiro find a little farm towards that likely Yule's Scepter.
Yeah. I might be bugged out. I'm not seeing any of his fire ribbons up, but it says that Ember Spirit has 2 up, so I'm assuming he'll jump right back to the mid lane, assuming that as soon as he heals up here and he's just being able to get to the lane a little bit faster, might be able to get a kill on Mitch. But again, I don't see exactly what the remnants are.
Did they even show up on the minimap?
They definitely used to. I don't know.
Are they just the white dot? Is that what they are?
It should be a green dot, yeah.
Who knows?
But in this case, he had 2 buffs indicating fire runes being down, and he still just TP'd to the lane, so maybe it is a visual bug.
Yeah, I see it by the tower now, standing there.
Oh yeah, he just placed that.
No, I know, but I see it on the mini-map this
Okay.
time.
As long as we're now on the same page. But
We are on the same page. If he uses it, the buff placer goes away, right? Or does it just remain?
that might be the bug because
Yeah.
I didn't see any, but we'll see. Anyways, right now Doom is going to be going for a Midas. Other item progression will be a mechanism long term for Enigma. Still, actually a pretty delayed mechanism considering how his jungle affairs were. Beyond that, Puck's Blink Dagger status is pretty far off, about a third of the way there. And I don't see any other major items coming out at this point in time. I mean, the Slark actually on the core has an Aquila, but that's a pretty minor pickup at this stage in the game. Down bottom.
Yeah, we'll see Doom. He was in the middle lane having a bit of fun. He'll come bottom to have absolutely zero fun. He goes for a ride on the black hole. And now we're going to have to go up top where Gorak was in a bit of trouble but will escape. And now I think the push here onto the bottom tier 1. Going to continue, got those Eidolons up. And the creep wave coming in, getting fresh. Middle lane, actually, we got to go over and look quickly. Milan's in some trouble. Alpha Ninja will find the kill. And both of these teams making sure I'm awake this morning. Keeping me on my toes.
I think he caught it all, man, so that's all good. Gorak was able to Timber Chain out of Pounce, so nice little escape tool there as long as he's got the range for it. That's why he maxed Timber Chain first against Slark, and yeah, he's doing all right here. He's got a lot of mana to spam out with these Arcane Boots, so if they try to go for a push against him, he just chakrams it down. Very, very nice. But we are going to be seeing the tower fall down bottom. I think that Doom was kind of feeding on the bottom lane, honestly. Like, I watched the minimap, and that's how I saw the confrontation. Essentially, Grazine just walked up to them, and then he got jumped on. And I'm like, okay, well, why'd you get in their zone? It just didn't seem like a forced error. But in either case, he's doing all right here. He's going to have his Midas coming out in about a minute or 2. And DD Rune up top, Afro Ninja picking up the bounty as well. But will he actually go for a kill on anybody? Milan would be the easiest pick, but without steering chains and without vision, that seems unlikely.
You gotta be careful with these feeding accusations. I accused someone yesterday of feeding, and they went beyond godlike in the next 5 minutes.
Well, then I'm just setting them
So
up.
yeah, man, that's biased
go
casting
stand
right
up.
there. You clearly want this Doom to go beyond godlike. And maybe he will. He's getting pretty close. He just finished up the Midas now. If he's gonna buy it, I can only assume that's what the gloves of haste were for. So max Devour, Midas. Actually, just kidding. 3 points in Devour, and the Midas coming out now at just under 13 minutes as he's going to look towards... I mean, I can only assume he's going to go for a Blink Dagger,
Do you
Aghanim
see
Scepter.
this? These are freaking illusions from the PA. She picked up an illusion rune, and they're just destroying the Skywrath. Got crits on them, or evading all the auto attacks. They just won't die.
And now we know why Manta is emerging as an item on the Phantom Assassin.
Like, holy shit, that's just ridiculous. How much blur does she have? She only has 2 blur, and they evaded, I would say, like, 70% of the auto attacks sent her way. Maybe it's just...
I swear to God, it's 100% at every level.
Jeez.
Like, that's what it feels like, honestly.
No crit on the dagger out to Mitch, but they're just going to go for an easy, steady push here. And how do you deal with this at that stage? With Alpha Ninja hiding in the high ground, macro player seems a really good way to deal with it.
Yeah.
But at some risk, they're going to go lead on Milan. He's got the orb jaunt. It will get in him away, but he still dies to the damage over time of the searing chains. Alpha Ninja eating a slow, and they are happy to keep this push alive. They still have the Soul Ring mech available. The Eidolon's coming out in 6 seconds as well. Yeah, they are going to be here to stay in this tier 1 mid lane.
Yep, looking to push forward here. Yeah, I figured that he'd be using the demonic conversion on that siege wagon to just make the push that much faster, even those take some time to bring down. And this is the second tier 1 to fall, this one in the middle lane. So the HellRaisers, with some heroes that can get out of control with some map space, are finding that space, especially with bringing down that middle tier 1. And just like that, it's clockwork as they'll rotate up to the top lane. Want to put some pressure on Slark. Slark, I think, realizes this, says goodbye, we'll go far mid, and that means that this lonely tower is probably going to be falling relatively soon.
Yeah, any tier 1 that is pushable makes a bad spot for a place to farm because you know that HellRaisers are going to be setting the sights on those structures very, very early on. Mitch now with the max liquid fire down bottom will likely be bringing this tier 1 to its knees. But Enigma has something else to say about that. He has the black hole available, but needs to get in position to do that before he gets doomed. That's the big thing. Grazine looking for anybody. I think he's caught sight of him a couple times over. Jukes in the tree line. There it is. The Malefice before the doom. He can't get his spells off. He's gonna go down.
Yeah, and at this point, it's not even worth casting the Doom, so he'll let it go. The tower will fall, though, and it will be brought down by the Dire. Not going to get denied or anything like that. Milan's here with an invisibility rune right now. The score's 9-3 at 16 minutes. Slarky's coming down, but he probably realizes he's being trailed by Arts because that passive more than likely disabled. He'll get over the cliff there, jump it down.
He also ate a couple daggers. I mean, that's pretty clear.
Yeah, so I think he definitely realized. Oh, there's the Malefice, though. Dark Pack's still on cooldown for another second. He'll have to use the Shadow Dance, but the BK, the black hole goes off. The Dream Coil comes down. There's a swap back by Dread, and he's going to go on to the puck. So Enigma has fallen, but they did get that Slark. They'll get PA. Nicely done. Lizard getting some revenge there with the Mystic Flare. And now Milan going to try to get away from this. It does have an orb. Nice ice path here by the Jakiro. That's Dread trying to run away. Well, actually dodged the orb damage, but I don't see him living through this. No, puck will bring him down. Now Gorek was doomed. HellRaisers get a little antsy. They push out pretty far looking for kills, and instead they give up quite a few. They're going to lose 4 off of this exchange, where My Insanity only losing 2.
And if you look at the net worth chart, they shouldn't have won that fight just by the numbers. When you look at it, they were nowhere near the level of farm that HellRaisers had, but that Dream Coil just absolutely broke down the chain of initiation that HellRaisers had in store. Getting the disable on the Timber Saw so he couldn't contribute, getting the Dream Coil on the Black Hole, so that was a wasted cooldown. They just tore them apart, and that's a huge swing in favor of My Insanity. They really did not have a place in the game prior to that fight, but they made all their spells count, and that was a hell of a fight for My Insanity. The Dream Coil really turning things on their head, and I'm really looking forward to see what they can do with this extra income. Now they get the Blink Dagger on the puck. He immediately buys a Smoke of Deceit. He wants to put it to some use, so they want to get involved. They want to get active before this Timbersaw gets too damn tanky, because he's already got the Soul Booster right now if he disassembles the Arcanes. So he's only a Soul Ring and a Recipe away from that Bloodstone.
Cole on the Slark here is also up to 2,400 gold, so he could go for that Blink Dagger investment as well if he wants to. But over the last day or last couple games, we've seen these Slarks here in Starladder Europe. They've been going for the Shadow Blade. As Arts with the haste going to get a little bit aggressive. He'll break the coil. I don't think he's going to take enough damage here, as he still does have the haste. No one else will be able to catch up. It's fairly close, though. And they might want to go back in. A Dagger going to go, hoping for the extra stifling, hoping for the crit off of that. Now Gorek wanted to fight that. Will run into the entire team. I guess the Doom isn't quite there, and Gorek will go down, and that's a Timbersaw that was honestly getting pretty over-leveled at this point of the game. He was the second highest. He's actually, there's a crap load of level 11 heroes.
Now there are.
Yeah, wow, after that. Timbersaw, Enigma, PA, Jakiro, Slark, Puck, all level 11. Doom, surprising with the Midas. I guess he's died a little bit, potentially fed a kill. He's level 10, and the 2 supports even at level 8. So a very leveled up game, especially after that fight in the bottom lane a few minutes ago.
Death, the great equalizer.
Yeah, really, especially now.
Now we see, yeah, I mean, you saw how tanky he was, how long it took him to bring him down. Even with the maxed Ancient Seal and pretty much the full duration Mystic Flare on him, Timber just took it all, but they were able to bring him down essentially 4v1 there as he went in just to help out his PA, who didn't need it. Without a blink on the Slark, the haste rune was enough to get out. They had to have a coil or a pounce on him, and neither was there. So that smoke from both sides, going to be an interesting confrontation. Alpha Ninja is the bait that is visible, and they might walk into it, but this is actually going to be a Roshan attempt that goes awry as Alpha Ninja falls back to his teammates.
All right, Black Hole's not there. You need one more second for it. The coil's been dropped. Doom will fall down after using his Doom. Skywrath going to be cleaned up rather quickly. Now Jakiro was like, hey guys, you need any help? And now Dread with the nice body blocks here. Going to throw the stun. Black Hole, what are you doing?
Good stutter.
Oh well, he probably went to cancel it, but it does go off fairly instant. Mitch is not going to quite go down. He'll put himself up, but now he falls. The Malefice is going to get him, I believe. Dread is here. Gorek is here. They're trying to chase, and now HellRaiser's taking the fights like they should have, winning them 2 for 4. Slark, though, will get involved. He wants to get Dread down, and he won't be able to find it. You mentioned earlier Gorek on this Timbersaw. Such a good hero against that Shadow Dance. He obliterates the Slark and his ultimate, where Slark generally feels like that's a safe place. Not today.
Cut.
Seriously, Slark's not even a tree.
Yeah, that's a 3,200 gold swing thereabouts, going the way of HellRaisers here. Experience coming out both ways, but 4K in favor of HellRaisers. And yeah, you just got to look at the sources of damage here. Obviously, Ember Spirit didn't do anything. He died via Doom and didn't really get to do anything in the fight. But it was very fortunate that they had that smoke behind Ninja. That I don't know if they intended to use him as bait. I thought they were doing that initially, but obviously they moved into the Roche pit. They went in for other greener pastures, and when they actually went into the teep fight, they seemed a little bit unprepared, but at least they were in the right position. So they kind of scrambled everything really quickly and were able to turn it around. The one thing that obviously wasn't great was the black hole, but it wasn't necessary here. They're not reliant on that when they have so much damage coming in from other sources like the Timber Saw and the Phantom Assassin, who does have that Mantis Style, by the way. Oh, the crits, jumping in, the dagger crit, the right-click crit, forcing out the Shadow Dance. He does have a Blink Dagger, but it's put on cooldown.
Nice swap there by Dread. I was questioning the wave of tear, but whatever. There's a Macropyre down, Mitch. They're still going to try to go for him. The Dream Coil going to catch up too by the tower. The burn damage should be able to bring him. He'll activate the Remnants. Ninja, does he have the mana? No, activate's actually on cooldown. Actually, no, he doesn't have the mana. Just kidding. But
Wow.
he is out of Remnants for 15 seconds. It doesn't even matter. I focus on the unimportant. The important is that my Insanity have lost 4, and now HellRaisers were, well, they fell flat for like a couple seconds, but they're right back in it, winning the last 2 team fights, and this one in a really big way. Now they'll find that Roshan that they were looking to claim just a little while ago.
And this is where Dodo begins making sense again. Like before, it was like, what the hell is happening? These guys that are half net worth to their opponents are destroying their opposition in team fights. But now the stars have gotten back in order. Everything makes sense again in the world. HellRaisers taking 2 fights with the more farmed carries, with the heroes that have the better items and in general the better initiation. So we do see how quickly a Doom can fall to a hero like Timbersaw. We have seen Puck kind of getting outmaneuvered by this Ember Spirit, and in general it seems like they're playing much more defensively right now, which is unfortunate because they just picked up 2 Blink Daggers. Like, you don't buy actually 3 Blink Daggers within the past like 5 minutes and then start playing defensively. You want to be the ones that go for the pickoffs, but with the fight happening near Roche, they went for a pickoff, which turned out to be a 5v5, and in this case here it was just HellRaisers getting the better jump against their opponents. Oh, look at this stack though. This is actually pretty huge. Radiant will be able to acquire this for themselves here. Wave of Terror coming out, the Searing Chains doing some work, and the Battle Fury, of course, being the main factor here.
Yeah, the item already up there for the Ember, and, well, looking at the net worth chart to the left, this is when you realize you've got a bit of a problem. There's 4 core heroes right now in HellRaisers dominating that chart. Ember at 10.1, PA at 9.1, Timber at 8, and Enigma just a little bit below 8. And apparently there was a buyback on that Slark a little while ago. I don't know if we pointed it out when it happened, but
yeah. It was on the team fight recap. I don't know if you're using that very actively, but
I don't know. Maybe not as much as I should, but
sometimes it gets buggy and it's like completally worthless.
Yeah,
so.
it's generally worthless.
Lizard, oh, the Manta! Oh, beautiful from Arts. Just destroying. He might get another. The phase shift isn't long enough. He gets 2 by himself. Just goes in, crit, playing PA like she was born to be.
She born in the USA, Blaze?
I don't know. What kind of ethnicity is that hero? That's a good question.
I don't know. Kind of looks like a
Everybody
widow.
has like their own, like, I mean, we've got from Bat Rider to Ember Spirit. Like, you've got a very wide array of even the humanoids having some varying accents, ethnicities, all these themes.
We need more lore. They
teased
us with the map for the training games, but oh well. Here we go. Fortifying is out as the HellRaisers are moving into the base, trying to bring down the house. They'll force Secure to Yules himself. This Midnight Pulse doing quite a bit. The Doom will go out. Nice defensive swap by Dread to keep that Enigma alive. Cole almost goes down there probably to the activate Fire Remnant damage. There's 2 buybacks, 1 from Jakiro, 1 now from the Doom. Doom coming back in. Level Death. That's going to bring down the first life of the PA Aegis. Someone stay by your PA. She needs to blink out. Everyone's just leaving her.
They got distracted by the Puck.
Yeah, Puck. Puck will do that, man. It makes you tunnel vision really, really hard on that fairy dragon. Like, is that a fairy or is that a dragon? But here we go. The Ice Path. Big damage coming out here from My Insanity. Almost about to get the PA again, but she'll be able to back off with just 60 health, and Doom will fall. That's the dieback from the Doom. They're looking to get Mitch with the dieback as well, but once again, is it a fairy or is it a dragon? Milan will find another kill. He's going to continue to run away. Gorak chases him, and maybe they lose sight of the prize for just a little bit, but either way, still a pretty good fight for HellRaisers. It's 4 for, well, actually 3 for 4 because that death How is that not an Aegis icon? Come on. And the double buyback. So 3 for 4, 2 buybacks on my Insanity. Things have not gone well.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, if they commit the 2 buybacks and they don't get enough out of it, like, you could tell they could still take the fight even after those buybacks if they were in the right position. They did get a little distracted there. Their Aegis respawn wasn't used as expertly as it could have been, but PA gets out with their Phantom Strike, and the casualties of war aren't that substantial. It is worth noting here, Timbersaw concludes that fight with 17 Bloodstone charges. So he's got an instant respawn and then some. And yeah, maybe he'll have to use that now as they're going to be looking to flank and maybe go for a Blink Doom. Nope, the confusion.
They're like,
from the
wait, what?
Timber Chain plus TP. He's like, oh, there's a circle here. Did he go invis? No, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Bit of survivability. And
oh, mid? Nah.
that was just game sense, too, because they don't have any wards in that region at all. And actually, right now, the Radiant, I don't think they have any wards. They do have their heroes very far out on the map, so that alone gives you kind of a lot of vision and map control. But no wards for them. Looking at the Dire, they've got the classic spots, defensive on the runes, a little defensive on the rune wards, but either way, pretty much just standard stuff. And now they just put one up on their Dire High Cliff, as that tier 2 is probably going to be another objective relatively soon for HellRaisers. But they're going to go in here. Black Hole's still online. The Doom is up. The Dream Coil is up. Actually, every single person in the game has their ultimate right now. Puck jumps in, jumps out. They're going for the ranged racks once more. And at 26 minutes in, this ranged racks is going to fall.
Yep, so getting bottled up from her allies. PA is ready to rumble. The illusions are on the front line, but it's going to be Doom on the back line. Just getting obliterated.
Wow.
No chance to cast. Very ambitious blink in from him. Slark's like, I'm here. I TP'd in. Let's go, go, go. Okay, no longer is that the strategy. Go, go, go is not the plan. Losing our melee Rex is part of the strategy now, and they'll have to just cop that loss and try to hold elsewhere.
Yeah, more like chop, chop, chop from the Timbersaw.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That was a crit. Didn't quite kill Milan.
They got the take on, though. Can they do anything with it?
Nice coil. Swap out, trying to get Cole away. Or Cole's trying to chase them away, rather. Alpha Ninja will find the double kill, and My Insanity defending in their base after losing their mid-racks, trying to win this fight at the bottom lane. There's a basher here on Arts as well, and Puck will not be able to escape out of this. They actually, okay, just kidding. Tier 2s are still here. That was just a straight-up Tier 3 dive with the Tier 2 still standing. So HellRaisers just put in the... I don't even know. That's not quite the nail on the coffin. That's just maybe even a little BM.
Yeah, a little bit. They did not need to move there at all. There was no objective in that region whatsoever. There were Ziggurats and there were Tier 4s. That's the only thing they could really strike there. There were 2 Tier 2s left on the map, but yeah, they finally take down this Tier 2 tower, and yeah, they can go in confidently into the next wave. I mean, Timbersaw's got 30 mana per second. He's looking pretty good. He's about to pick up his Aghanims, probably from their fountain, and it's on the Doom not to just jump in and die again. Oh, the bash! The bash!
Unfortunately, the shopkeeper doesn't care who's giving him gold. Lizard will go down. Doesn't even need the crit there, but if he had it, probably would have been close to a one-shot at this point. Tier 3 is about to fall. The Eidolon's working on that. Art's still trying to be dealt with, but will heal up very, very quickly with some lifesteal and a crit is what that looked like. He's going to get doomed right now. Tier 3 has fallen. And
he's just going to get mech'd up.
Yeah, he is doomed right now, but that doesn't disable Blair anymore, so he could go back and fight if he wanted to. There's the nice black hole, just onto one. It is canceled out. We haven't seen very many fantastic black holes this game, but they're trying to lock down that Puck. Puck is going to be able to blink away. Yeah, there's the ping coming out. That's from you, even, pointing out to everyone that the Black King bar was online, and he did not use it. I don't know if it'll matter. Art's backing off, doesn't want to get picked off by Puck, as Puck does buy back here. Racks will fall, and that's going to be the GG here at 29 minutes. So game 1, HellRaisers versus My Insanity. Pretty quick.
Yeah, still a fun game though. This was like all over the place. I really enjoyed this game of Dota. It might, like, if you look at just the kill score, you're like, oh, 35-16, the expected win, HellRaisers dominating, whatever. But no, that was sweet. I like to see the cool black hole interrupts coming in from MYI, even though one of those was because of no BKB for some reason. But Timbersaw just laying it into people blowing up left and right. I mean, hell, even watching Puck get a Dagon 2 blast on a lowly Vengeful Spirit. Like, there is so much to be enjoyed about this game, even if it was a little dominant from the side of HellRaisers. There was still...
Yeah, they worried us for a second. in the bottom lane when Puck came up big and everything swung back almost even towards
Hmm.
even.
Oh yeah, the Dream was alive with like two big fights from the side of MYI. They certainly put up a fight here, but the better carries win out, scaling harder and more rapidly as Slark doesn't even finish his Scotty by the end game here. I really feel like they committed a lot towards those Blink daggers and they didn't get anything out of them. Like usually you just look at the item and you're like, okay, yeah, Blink is a good item on Slark. Blink is a good item on Puck and Doom. Actually, they're like 99.9% of the time you buy Blink dagger on Puck because it's so huge. But were all three Blink daggers necessary, and did they really get the level of initiation they were looking for out of those items? We got a couple cool stomps from Doom, but he just wasn't durable enough to go on the front lines there, having gone for the Midas and the Blink dagger. So maybe an alternate build, but at the end of the day, HellRaiser just played a really good game of Dota 2 and deserved this win in the 29-minute mark.
Yeah, I think obviously the blink for the Puck was really good. Like it led to that fight bottom lane. He went for the Dagon, which being behind isn't maybe your choice. I feel like Doom could maybe have just rushed out an Ags. Like if he has the Ags, disables that blur up on the PA, they have more of a chance of bringing the PA down. And after all, like they only killed her once. She went 15, 1, and 8. But enough of this game, guys. Up next, we've got NIP, not the Counter-Strike organization. It's Natasha Ishet Piarna or something along those lines. I think it means like Natasha needs a boyfriend or something. I don't know. Maybe Twitch chat was just trolling me, but they would never do that, right, Blaze? NIP versus X Game is the next game. So stick around. You're watching Starladder. I'm Helium. You can follow me on Twitter at HeliumBrella there. Blaze at BlazeCasting. That's in the top right. Make sure to buy that Starladder ticket as well. And do stick around here. Twitch.tv/DotaStarladder_EN.